Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order, Last Days of Europe, with me, Alpha Omega, and the Empire of Japan. So, we are going to continue the story today. Actually going to do only one episode instead of 2 or 3, because it's very late in the night and I just finished some catch up of work and everything, so I'm kind of tired, but I still want to do at least one episode because I'm really looking forward to getting out of the miasma of economic downturn in Japan as soon as possible. I'm still really worried about the situation in the Philippines, where we will be unable to finish the reconstruction, and I'm hoping that the game will give us some kind of leeway because we will almost finish it, but we shall see. Still, I want to look at the reforms a little bit more. One thing that I wanted to do in the last episode and I forgot about it was because we were getting we were importing fuel for the past 15 episodes, but we finally caught up and filled all of our reserves, so we can go ahead to the trade, which is over here, and we can let the game fix or auto balance this. Why is it now? That's weird. It looks like we will import more fuel than before, but okay, we'll see what's gonna happen. The game will recalculate it, so whatever we get extra should go to construction. We're upgrading the infrastructure in Miyazaki and Hokkaido, which is good. Building a prison in Osaka, which is also good. And here we go, I think we just gotten a couple of free production units. Okay, I have no idea where this one's come from, but cool. I'm not gonna complain about that. GDP is still dropping, but yeah, we'll get it done. Though maybe it is really coming from the trade, because we... Yep, look at that, we freed up 20! Oh well, 20 production units. Okay, that's gonna change our economy a lot and actually give us quite a lot of ability to... Well, actually, we're building an entirely new thing. Cool. Okay, that's really good. So what do we have here? Another destroyer which can go join the training fleet. Are we still building any, or are we just upgrading the submarines? No, we're still building one. Okay, so it's as it should be. We're upgrading an entire submarine, or we're upgrading a submarine using the entirety of the available dockyards. And the second one has half of them assigned, and the destroyer is being worked on by a full set of dockyards. Okay, so that's pretty good. That is pretty good. We finished the entire equipment. Cool. And Notfallverwaltung Paulsborg has robbed SPG winners of Destiny's Blessing. Okay. Survival training is going to be done soon. So because we finished you, we can now go with this improved anti-air equipment. 409. Basic man-portable air defense system, man-pads, developed shortly after the Second World War, with integrated sensors to track aircraft engine heat signature. Is that the same? Nope. Okay. Saying right after, or shortly after the Second World War. I mean, this is in 1958. No, it's not. No, it is 1958 technology. Okay, well. And how short are we on the experimental anti-air? 80. So, who is using it? Is it the Special Forces? Are you guys using the anti-air? Yes, 45. Wait, each of you is using 45. So, okay, so the Stockyard... Yep. Okay, they're lying. We need a ton of these. Jesus Christ, we need a ton of these. So let me put them up for production. Prototype entire equipment. And we'll assign, what about... Okay, this is a little bit of an extra situation, so let's assign 10. And we'll see how that's gonna go. Okay, we're producing 17.11 per day, and the game claims we need 200, but that is a lie. Yep, we need... Okay. This looks more like it. 1,208 units. We finished the research of the Special Forces, which is really good. So what else? Could we do this one? We could. Special Forces Modernization Program. So this one would give us organization and max speed plus 5%. War always changes, and so must our strategies evolve. Developing new tactics and equipment for our special forces will surely improve their survivability and potential them to perform better in their preferred field. So that is a good one. It's something that we can actually use. Okay, foreign policy decisions are available. So which one is the next good one for us? We have 40 days, so we need to be really selective. This increases their GDP by 3%. This one would give them infrastructure. This gives them stability. I want to give them this one. The stability and political power 25. And takes 14 days. And this one takes... Okay, we're gonna assist in the reconstruction, which will give them an extra boost to GDP, and then we're gonna promote the Filipino democracy because that gives them stability and political power. And that's gonna be all there is to it because we can't really do much else. The political power plus 50 we get we'll use for the public campaign so that we increase our stability, and thus we hopefully can then enact a couple of reforms. Okay, so this is gonna help our units get a little bit stronger. Well, you guys should be getting it already, right? Nope, nobody's getting it. It's forbidden. It's entirely forbidden. Okay, so you're done drilling as well, so are you. So this destroyer... Okay, we need a couple more. But I'd like to add 2 more units on these, and we'll just have them patrol. Just, you know, for roleplay reasons. There's really not a whole lot of reasons to do that. Okay, so the GDP is now dropping by only 2%, but we actually dropped into a deficit. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. I think at this point we can speed it up. The delicate balance of power in the German Civil War continues to shift as Bormann's Germany conquers Speer's Germany. Okay. Well, that sucks. So Bormann is going to win this one. Yep. He's the last man standing. I was hoping that we would get something different here, but this one is the most likely. Yep, they're back. This one is the most likely result, and it happened for us. But someone was telling me recently in the comments that in his game, when he was playing Italy, what happened is that the Speer's Germany actually won. Oh god, more poverty rate increases. Shh, my little bun, please try to sleep for mommy. In the darkness of the night, a young mother rocked her crying baby in the small apartment, frantically trying to get him to sleep. She rubbed his fingers, tickled his belly, and sang him lullabies, but nothing would silence the wailing child she held in her arms. She had been awake for hours now, sweating and exhausted with a piercing migraine, desperate to get her child to at least quieten his wails so she too could sleep. Her husband, who was strangely not home at such a late hour, had recently lost his job in the en masse layoffs of employees working for corporations struggling to survive the economic crisis, and could provide very little amounts of money for his family to survive off each day. As a result, the baby was hungry, but there was not enough food in the house to feed him. Her untucked breast was sore and chafed in the last-ditch attempts hours ago to feed her son, but to no avail. She could not provide the breast milk for her baby, and the sense of defeat loomed over her enervated body. She continued to rock her screaming baby in the darkened rooms of her dingy apartment, praying that the child would finally come to rest, but the cries only continued through the early morning. Drenched in sweat, her dirty nightgown hung over her tired shoulders as she could barely stand up for much longer. She threw herself back into a chair and rocked her baby with a drowsy passion, distressed and debilitated by her suffering as an isolated mother in the dullness of the night. Quiet with one mom is here. Okay, this one hits me hard because we have a very small child and I can feel her pain. But the idea of not being able to feed your child, that is just horrendous. We need to help these people quickly. So on our own, no living soul should inhabit an office at 3 in the morning, yet here Kaya was. It seemed work often carried into the night nowadays. At least it was done in the relative comfort of the Kantei. Here Kaya stood while a few choice cabinet members sat, suited in stinking black suits, eyelids drooping. "It seems old age hasn't faced the minister, somebody said. "Except Kaya doesn't age, but age does Kaya." If only they were right. The Prime Minister's old bones were aching, his hands nearly shaking. Administration was proving difficult. It was 6 by the time the meeting concluded, with a final thought from Kaya. The cabinet was at the last a little more active by then, with the benefit of coffee boosting their energy. Policy cannot be allowed to be dictated by the party, any party, be it the Yokosankai or the opposition. The elites of this nation, too. None can be allowed to flaunt and avoid our laws. This is just the beginning of our work. It shames me to have to chip at my colleagues' success, but to encourage unity within the party, some of our newly made friends will have to suffer lesser cabinet positions. The reform bureaucrats will be rewarded in due time, but unfortunately that time is just not now. The cabinet was dead silent, listening on in fearful anticipation. Those are my final thoughts, gentlemen. Take on board all I have said today, and we can begin to start building this nation back to greatness. The Prime Minister chuckled and added, hopefully without the all-nighters. Hopefully. So, who do we have in the position? Ushiba Nobuhiko, Fukuda Takeo. Okay, production efficiency cap increased by 3% and infrastructure construction speed increased by 10%. And you're lowering the need for consumer goods by 2% and give us extra political power gain. You unfortunately don't give us anything, but we're getting still 0.20. It's not bad. Pardon me. Political power plus 1.17 per day. I'll take it. So now, leading by example or forge our own path. Okay, forge our own path. We want the political power as quickly as possible. Fortune favors the bold, those that glance upon the beaten paths and take the risk to carve one for themselves. The world is changing at a breakneck pace, and Kaya's best hope towards his vision of Japan is not with a split cabinet, but one that shares his very own vision and managed to tame the beast called bureaucracy in the 30s. Aoki Kazuo? Between Kishi's hardliners and a diluted compromise, an independent cabinet is the best hope towards true, proper progress for our nation. So we get 71 political power. We need 25 to promote the Filipino democracy. I'm gonna wait for that one before I do the public campaign. Because while I would really like to do that, okay, I would like to do that. Okay, that actually lowered the inflation a little bit, so that's good. And once we get it done... Yeah, this one is bad because it lowers the income taxes, but it increases approval, and it costs only 30. This one is good because it gives us a GDP growth and improves poverty rate. The Central Siberian Republic has... Hold on. Conquered the Siberian Black Army. Okay, the Siberian Black Army was actually a pretty big one. Tomsk has conquered them. Well, okay. Amur is making head into Magadan. We'll see what's gonna happen there. Okay, we get the news that Bormann wins the German Civil War. The German Civil War, the most devastating and bloody conflict to ever consume Germany, has finally ended with Martin Bormann emerging as the victor. Having enjoyed extensive support during the Civil War, many expected Bormann's victory to be the most likely outcome of this terrible conflict. Standing before the Volkshalle today, the new Führer promised the German people a swift return to the former glory of the Reich, promising limited reform to ensure such a conflict never need to occur again. With the nation in ruin, a collapsed economy, a weary populace, and much of Europe still consumed by chaos, however, the true future of the Reich remains uncertain. Yet, with the great politician leading them, many remain hopeful that Bormann truly will be able to return stability to the Reich. So now he needs to integrate the Verkreis and the Reichskommissariats and everything. That's gonna take him a while. The NHK. The NHK is Japan's prime state-owned broadcasting corporation and enjoys a near-total dominance of Japanese media distribution and broadcasting. From radio to television, from soap operas to sports broadcasting, the NHK is almost eponymous with the very idea of radio and television to the average Japanese, even more so following its deregulation in the aftermath of the Second World War. Of note, the NHK's chief executives have recently declared an expansion plan to further its broadcasting capabilities across the sphere. An ambitious plan, the NHK's official declaration enshrines the need to project and share the cultural values and harmony of Japan all across the co-prosperity sphere, as well as to promote the ideas of Pan-Asianism. The expansion plan was met with great approval from the Japanese populace at home and abroad. Finally, Japanese people can also view the wonders of the sphere from their own homes, such as viewing the Indonesian Football League, as well as the exploits of budding adventurer Naomi Uemura, recently heralded as being the youngest Japanese individual to hike in the far reaches of Tibet. Naturally, one only needs to dig a small distance below the surface to realize that the NHK's expansion abroad is merely another tool to extend Japanese hegemony, even to the cultural sphere. Japanese programs receive 5 times the broadcasting hours as native language programs, and all important communications such as news broadcasts are entirely in Japanese. But we get then political power, which is all that I'm hoping for here. So we have 24 days and we can promote the Filipino democracy. Wait, didn't we do this one before? days and you take 14 days. Yeah, we won't manage. No, let's promote the democracy. They're gonna get the political power, and that is important. Okay, let's get a little bit of those production units here. couple conflicts are active. Now we have to choose the reforms. So this will bail out struggling businesses. Business tax cuts. These are. I hate that these lower the business taxes. I could prop up the struggling banks. Which one did this lowers the public approval, decreases investment, minimum wage reform. GDP growth will increase, inflation will increase, subsidize growth, public approval. Yeah, we still need to do stuff. Oh, this one. Okay, let's do this one. Rural electrification efforts. We spend a little bit of money, but GDP growth will increase by 0.5 and we get a thermal electric plant. And poverty rate will start improving in Cheetah, so that's actually pretty good. 0.5, that's gonna remove a lot of that. And we're gonna do the public campaign when we... actually, that was one more that helped. But that was the one that lowers the taxes. I don't want to do that because that's our main income. So we'll leave those for later. Instead, before we can do this one, for example, bailing out the struggling businesses, that helps with poverty rate and GDP growth, and that is way easier on the eye for us. Okay, you guys continue to construct here, which should help with the GDP as well. What's going on? From all trade balance, from infrastructure. The Channel crisis. With the total collapse of the German-backed government at the hands of the British resistance, many wondered if Germany would remain too paralyzed by its own ongoing civil unrest to muster an effective response. Those beliefs have been proven unfounded by confirmed reports of an extensive troop buildup threatening Britain despite unresolved insurgencies elsewhere in the Pact, along with blistering German condemnations of alleged Olafin involvements. Though at present the White House refuses to confirm or deny any plans to expand support beyond diplomatic and humanitarian aid, the publicly known pro-Olafin nature of the resistance has done little to cool tensions. While the situation escalates, many fear just how far Germany would be willing to go to preserve its strategically crucial western bulwark. Okay, Principality of Vyatka declared war on the Aryan Brotherhood. Concerned, the Reich readies its lash. Amur and Irkutsk still fighting Magadan. God Din Diem abolishes the Vietnamese monarchy. The Vietnamese government under God Din Diem has announced that it has formally abolished the monarchy. The imperial family, while not necessarily detested, was largely a background feature of the Vietnamese politics. The government has cited the unnecessary cost of maintaining the household's lifestyle as well as public sentiment as the reason for that decision. The imperial family has made a short statement accepting the decision and affirming that they will continue to serve Vietnam as private citizens. The government has chosen to allow the imperial family to retain their estates and has been given a stipend for maintenance, 1,000 years erased with a stroke of a pen, and somewhere beyond the sea. While recognizing the right for the English to have their concerns addressed, the Empire of Japan denounces the irresponsible conduct of both the Olafin and the Einheitspacht in this ongoing issue. We urge for calm, caution, and a measured response to the situation. The assistant pressed stop on the tape player, and the tape's subject, Kaya Okinori, waved him away. He shut the door behind him, leaving behind a meeting born in panic. Laid onto the table was a map of the English Channel, with estimated troop deployments drawn on both coastlines. Somewhere in the middle was another, more fluid boundary, with American and German ships on either side. It was a battle for the soul of England, and Japan could do nothing but watch. "What news from Europe?" asked the Prime Minister, turning to the head of the DTS. "Troops are ready to invade Great Britain, and the Kriegsmarine is on high alert in the Channel itself. They're mobilizing, in large numbers despite their recent follies." "What follows," said the Minister for Foreign Affairs, "are displays of power and force meant to cow the other side into recognizing their claim over England. It's a prize worth fighting for in their eyes. The Overfen wants entry into the Europe and to defend their kin, and the Pact cannot afford to lose it lest their navy be cut off from the ocean. And if they go to war over it, will be dragged into their mess." The Prime Minister ran his fingers along the edge of the table. To the ministers of the Army and Navy next to him, he said, "Increase our state of readiness, but quietly." To the Minister of Foreign Affairs, "Continue to call for calm. Perhaps even offer to mediate. They won't accept it, but they'll make us look reasonable." And to the man from the DTS, "Ensure that our assets keep a close eye on this." "Until then," said Kaya Akinori, "all we can do is wait and watch." Haitian government overthrown. Today at Port-au-Prince lies under martial law. The anemic response of the Haitian government to the growth of the communism in Hispaniola, first the socialist victory in the Dominican Republic, and then in the nation's hinterland, with the growing militancy of the PPLN, has led the army to take matters into their own hands in the wake of the President Lescaut's assassination. Under the leadership of the General Vion Cantave, Haiti's new military government has vowed to be a bulwark of anti-communism and has already begun anti-socialist crackdowns in the country's major cities, actions that have earned it the condemnation of its eastern neighbor. Across the island, battle lines are being drawn. So Haiti is gonna fight the Dominican Republic? Really? Okay, so we have 6 days to finish this, and we'll end up in 80%. Yeah. Cool. Great. I just wish we had a little bit more time, but unfortunately we don't. Democraticus coup in Paraguay. The collapse of the German hegemony due to the Civil War has shaken the new order in Europe beyond recognition and cut off their various foreign clients from their lifelines. Nowhere is a clearer case of the latter found than in Paraguay, where rumors indicate that the stability of the regime shattered and caused various former supporters to break off from it. Having failed to wrestle control over the security forces, the dictator Higinio Moringio has swiftly been deposed by a coup. The new government is made up of the remnants of the pre-dictatorship Colorado Party, who advocate for moderate conservatism along corporatist lines. However, the situation in Paraguay is still tense. Further changes in the landscape cannot yet be ruled out. The ripples of the German Civil War reach far and wide. Has Germany made any progress here? No, Frankreich is still there, but Germania has been incorporated. Belarus, North Ukraine, Central Moscovian, Southern Moscovian. Oh wait, no, that's... Okay, gotcha, I was in the wrong map. So Poland, Belarusian Central Council, Special Forces Shishki, not far from Waltung, Bausburg. Unlikely enemies, huh? These guys have a massive advantage in numbers. When's the reform coming? Oh, 20 more days. Jesus. Okay. You have a lot of time then. We lost manpower. Tremors. The bedraggled Colonel Naoki sat in his office, reluctantly staring at his blank report. It had been weeks since he'd been shipped to this shithole, attached to a newly composed regiment and forced to watch over them like toddlers. The island was everything he imagined his personal hell would be, isolated, desolate, and most of all, frozen from one end to another. Naoki puffed a large cloud of smoke for warmth. Oh, okay, from a cigarette, and inscribed a few characters into the paper. It would only be for a few days, they assured him. You'd get a higher paycheck, they said. Naoki scrunched his cigarette on its tray before throwing the pan in frustration. Why did it have to be him? Of all the poor bastards that could have been sent here, why him? He asked, receiving no answer. His thoughts were interrupted when the bulb above swung vigorously, and the table swayed rapidly. Instincts dictated the colonel whip out his pistol and burst out of the office to scan the surroundings. As the flash of emergency lights blanketed the base in a dim red glow, sirens blared in the distance, drowning out almost all human noise. An American attack? Naoki thought. No, it would be too soon for that. His thoughts were cut short once more when the ground split beneath him, and only through quick reflexes was he narrowly saved. Looking back, Naoki saw his office swallowed into the earth. Looking to his sides, he saw silhouettes of men scurrying to and fro, some unfortunate soul slipping into the cracks, maybe too young to die this early. Looking forward, Naoki saw the mighty runway rupture and crack into several pieces, causing chunks of asphalt to fly in the air, damaging any material previously spared. Only after a few minutes did the shaking stop. The base was rendered unrecognizable. Atsudato. I still don't know what that is. Electricity lines were cut off or tangled together, buildings were leveled or rapidly crumbling, and the ground lay fractured with large gaps in several places. Naoki laughed, perhaps too loudly. It really was hell on Atsuta. Atatsu. Atsutato. Okay. So it's the northern base. Yep. So this one got damaged. So we get forge on path in 15 days. Stability is looking good. We're getting some decent advances in the economy. Yep, the real GDP growth is dropped a little to minus 1.8%. But the debt is now definitely increasing, so we'll need to. But we're battling it. Now we're actually battling it. We have guns and torches, and we can put the economy back into functioning order. But we'll need to curtail the inflation, and we'll need to increase the GDP growth. But I think we'll have enough, because we're down, 2%, and these ones give us, so this decreases, okay, that's 0.55, okay, that's 1%, okay, that would be 1.25, 1.6, 2.05, 2.3, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, 2.80, and 2.95, 3.15, 3.65. 3.65, so that would mean a growth of roughly 1.8%. That's not really good, not gonna lie, but it is a positive growth. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get something over here that's gonna help. Begin the reforms. Political cons and untangle economy. Cleanse the corrupt. Prepare our tools. Okay, that's another 0.5 GDP. That's a 1 point GDP. So that's 1.5 and 1. Okay, that's 3.1 already. By any means. Premiership secured. Okay, so that would be 3.1. I'm not sure if there's anything else in here. That's from Manchuria. Okay, it's influence. Crush the centers. Baptism by fire. Okay, there's another 0.5 here. So, yeah, we're looking at around 4% without any events or anything, which is good. 4%, that is a solid growth. It's not gonna take us back. Well, I mean, 247. So 1% is 2.4, and we were at 260. Let's go to 65. So we were getting about 80 billion. So in about 2 years, we could get to where we were at full growth. Not bad. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode.